So this is where we're beginning. All this stuff, we'll have to see the mill later. Mine portal, all of that. But we're going to begin by coming down the main road. Coolidge was once a thriving silver mining town, established in the early 1900s around the Elkhorn Mine, one of Montana's richest silver discoveries. At its peak, the town was home to hundreds of miners, a schoolhouse, and an electric-powered mill, an impressive innovation for its time. However, as silver prices fell and priorities shifted during World War II, the town was deserted. Today, Coolidge stands completely abandoned. Its mines are silent and the streets are frozen in time. Join us as we explore its empty buildings, hidden pathways, and get a glimpse of Montana's once thriving mining era. Coming up on the first remnants of the ghost town, a good sign that the town should be right ahead. Welcome to Coolidge, Montana. Currently walking on the main road. There's some standing buildings and there's others like this where it's completely gone. Just look how the trees have grown into this cabin. You can't really see it. Oh, whoa, that's really crazy. Check it out, that whole building has fallen into the creek side. So now we have a creek going right through it. That is definitely unique. I've never seen anything quite like that, where you have a ceiling, a roof, in a literal creek. This is what I was looking at, with all the trees growing in front. And we'll keep going, because right over is more buildings. And then there's one intact. I'm going to try to get to that one first. This is the house in the best of condition. And we're going to go inside and explore it. Right off the bat, they leveled out their whole front. So it was all stacked rock going up. It's a 2-story. Walking up the steps to their front yard. And aside from their front yard, you then have the patio. Look how neat this looks. Coming up to the patio, you can imagine when it was active back in the day, someone was living here. They would look out and see a bunch of trees. They would have all these cabins and other houses besides them that were all in good condition as well. Then 2 windows and an entryway. This entryway automatically leads where there's a furnace pipe into the living room. A second room here. Isn't really anything inside of it. I do see this pass through, which is interesting because it goes into a different room right under the stairway. And something else I'm curious about. Let's turn my light on. Okay, nothing under the stairway. I saw that and wanted to look. Alright, now going in. There it is. Keep the place nice and heated. Which leads us directly into the kitchen with a side door that still opens and closes. And then all the kitchen space, kitchen cupboards, countertops. Now when we leave the kitchen, the last room of the first level, I don't know what it would have been. It could have been a bedroom. Except there's no door, because where the door would be, right here, got a window. Here's the pass through. So the other side where we went through right now, directly under the stairs. Nothing inside of this room, but a very low window looking out. But then you got the stairs, and I say we go check out the upstairs. And this was the bedroom. There's a crawl space to the right of me. Isn't anything inside of it. And then a bunch of storage space with a part on top, which is really neat. There's the piping. Closet space. So after all that wood's been pulled up. They had a wall. Right out the side door into what could have been a screened-in porch. Another standing cabin, but the roof, can you still go inside of it? Yeah, it's open. And then right across was another cabin. And we'll continue making our way. Another Clapston house. Then there's a log cabin beside it. Just look at how all the plants are growing on top of it now. There's a bush growing right into it, growing through the wood and all the decay. So this is interesting because it kind of looks like it would have also been a house. It's in the residential section. But you have bars on the window. I wonder why they would bar it up like that. So there's just one wall standing, and it's only standing because it's against a tree. Looking into the shed, completely empty. There isn't anything in. Of course, right beside the creek, which ran all along this town. They built a town right beside the creek for easy water access. Just a convenient location. Another 2-story house right behind a shed with some really neat moss growing. I like seeing that. That reminds me of when I was in the Redwoods exploring ghost towns. And yes, there is ghost towns in the Redwoods. Got some videos on them. Right beside the outhouse And those are two other outhouses. One's tipped over on its side, the other one's all collapsed in. Two-story house. One sat right here, adjacent to a log cabin, with even more buildings that are standing right ahead. Worth mentioning, another house. A tipped over tree is now resting on the cabin. And all these buildings, even the ones that are not really standing, right, just quickly glance over, it just gives us an idea of how huge this town was. It was a massive town. There's a couple houses here, even ones in front of it. So this was kind of a side road, a side street coming through from the main. Huge foundation. Then the porch right here, stairs, all gone now. Would have been a two-story, I'm pretty sure. Bedroom up top. Right next to it, very big one. I wonder if this could have been a schoolhouse. It must have been a business though. I'm thinking that was some sort of business or schoolhouse because it was too big to be a house itself. Another building beside it. I think we're getting into the business section because a lot of these buildings are not looking like houses, but more of some sort of business, such as this one, for instance. It's this huge one where it looks like it was maybe 2 rooms tops. Wouldn't have been a house. I like how the whole wall is coming through, but the tree is protecting it from falling. It's one after another where they really don't end, and I'm cutting out a lot because it all kind of looks similar. But now we should be reaching the end soon. So this is the last building. The road comes to an end. And the stairs, huge foundation, real high up. The road doesn't keep going. It kind of becomes a hiking trail. And that's it. I like seeing the bed frame here, right next to the outhouse. So here's the old photos. It was a really significant mill. Multi-level, it's a huge place. Here's the mill site, and I'm coming up to a couple buildings, and the town itself, just to give you an idea, is right up there. Made it to the mill. Tons of remains. This was a massive mill. You already seen the photos, so you know how big it was, and now we're going to see how it looks now compared to how it used to look. Look at the size of the chimney. The size of this mill is mind-boggling. I've seen a lot of mills, but none this big. Just going up all the levels right now, one after another, just to see the humongous cement foundation that makes up this mill. One last pan around, all of the equipment up above. It's crazy to see, especially since we had a photo that showed what the mill used to look like. Now we're looking at it now, how much has been gone and removed. One wall still remains. There's windows up top showing the level. So you can imagine that was one level right below a second one. And that just gives an idea of how massive it was and how many workers they had. A lot of people didn't work underground, they worked in the mill. It wasn't all underground mining here. I like the decay on this, how it's all buckled up. It's really neat looking. We're now leaving the mill site to continue exploring, which I noticed from this perspective. Looking right there is the stairs. So that was one of the levels. And then there's all this equipment. Making my way back to where I parked. The town itself is about a quarter mile up. The mill's just right over here, a couple 100 feet. And I was on the other side of the river, so now I'm just gonna make my way back on this side. But I found another old building, two big openings, indicating some sort of workshop situation here, or maybe a tool room. There's not a whole lot left. There's some shelving, and that's about it. And what do you think this would have been? Right beside it looks like a reservoir. The Coolidge ghost town is right up this road 2 miles. And on the way down, there's a cabin. I wonder what this person would have been doing living out here. 'Cause it's far away from the town. Maybe ranching or something like that. Just around a bunch of fields. There's no mines around us, except for Coolidge. Just a small cabin along the way. It's a neat log cabin for sure. Looking inside. It's in really good condition. There's a bed. I like log cabins for that reason. They last forever. Even the ceiling is made out of logs. That's the log cabin right outside of Coolidge, Montana. The road we came in from and the road we're going to exit out of. But if you look to the left, there's another road. And that goes right above Coolidge to the mines. So we're going to take that now. I'm definitely getting to the off the beaten path area. Nobody ever comes out here, but I was looking at my map And to the left of us, this road will lead us to a mine right above Coolidge. And then as we continue up, if we loop back after exploring this road, there's even more mines up above that are in relation to Coolidge. I'm now at the upper Elkhorn Mine area. There's a lot of buildings here, a lot of houses. Coming down here, there's a bunch of other buildings. So this was a whole little mining community in itself. Tons of old houses all around us. One to the right. Looking over here. There's all the waste rock that came out of the mine. There's a trestle that ran over this to get on top of the massive waste rock pile. And they had a system where they would bring it down to the bottom of the site, and that's where Coolidge is. And all of the materials at this mine operation were done at the Coolidge Elkhorn Mill. Looking at an old building. Coming back to where the trestle was. And the mine was right above. There's a couple mines actually. We might be able to see an adit. Not really sure. We'll have to find them. Tons of tin cans. That's their dumping ground. And here's the production. A couple other buildings that might be an ore bin. I'm very curious. That's an ore bin to the left. And another building. It's looking around. We're so high up. And then I'm expecting this view. Let's see what this view looks like. Absolutely massive cliff. But just looking down, you could see this is all waste rock. This is a massive waste rock pile. And guess what? Right there, you see in this canyon, that's Coolidge directly below us. Elkhorn Mill and mine. Elkhorn Mill is right here. The mine down over there. We couldn't see it today. It was all closed off. And then these vast mountains. So you could see how high we've climbed. The clearing of trees is where the tram line used to sit. And they would take all of the material from here. They wouldn't truck it down to mountain, but instead they would put all the material from the mines and bring it all the way down to Coolidge. I would love to see this place when it was active, because look at the size of this building. It's humongous. I could only imagine what it would have been. And right next to it, they just keep coming. There's even more remains. It is just all gone, decayed away. Both sides of the road too. Another structure. I went up the road 1.5 miles, and I am now at the top of the mountain. There's no other mines above us. We're at the top ones. And right here's actually a mine. We're currently a little over 8,500 feet in elevation, so pretty high. And what's crazy is these are the ore cart tracks, and they've kind of just been all eroded. The portal is all shut. There's no way to even get into the portal now. But it's just in this big mess of plants and trees, and the mine we just looked at is tucked away behind those trees. And right by it is the old miner's cabin. Going into the entrance, we could kind of get an idea. You could still come in here. I see a bed spring, the old fridge. Let me zoom in so you could see that. That's an old fridge tipped over. There's a furnace here, a table, another table. Right into the bedroom. You could still see the bed frame. That's an old desk underneath all the timbers. This one, we could see the fridge. Old school. Bed springs. 2 of them. I don't see anything else for this cabin. But it looks like it was walled off, so this may have been 2 separate ones. All the timbers continuing. They don't really open up. Aside from the cabin, there's another one a ways up. It's a 1-bedroom, but there's really nothing worth filming of it. It's completely gone. But below, I passed a couple mine tailings, so I say we check them out. Very nice area. It's all opened up. It's nice up here. And here's a cabin. So this is where the miners lived. There's also some waste rock. This cabin was actually built on waste rock. But one cabin, another one tucked away behind it. Small 1-room cabin. Then another one has moss growing onto logs. I always like to see that. It was an incline shaft. It's all collapsed in. This mine is so old. There's no way you're gonna have anything left. We just came from the waste rock. Over here is where I began at this upper mine. And then we have a little bit of more waste rock to look at. And then we're done with today's exploration. No adit. If we did walk this way, we would just find the one we were looking at originally. I do see an ore cart track. 1 line of it. Maybe they had an ore chute. Then there's something across from us. It appears the waste rock continues. We'll hike down. I don't see anything. Alright, so there's no mines or anything, and this is it for this upper mine. Interestingly enough, it's kind of blurred when it comes to which mines were active when. This upper one wasn't really in relation with the rest we've seen in today's video, but since it was so close, I decided why not check it out. They had different production years, different owners and whatnot like that, different claims. So we're going to get down to mountain and continue onward. As always, put a like, comment down below, subscribe, and stay tuned.